Hi, I hope all of you are fine. So, in everyday life, every person, every individual, either he is a layman or in industry or a working professional, student, doctors, anyone, he encounter daily with the technology in his life. And all the big tech companies, including Google, Microsoft, Facebook, Twitter, have their headquarters in USA. So, why does big tech stay headquartered in the USA? This is the question we often encounter. What is the reason of the big tech companies in the stay in the USA? Back in 2003, the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development hailed the emergence of world market for corporate headquarters. Multinational companies were becoming more internationally mobile. They were relocating their core business function and sometimes the global headquarters itself outside of their home country to whichever country offer the most competitive to persist. 2016, their CHQ, even iconic American company had decided to move, including Burger King to Canada, Budweiser to Belgium, and Lucky Strike to the UK. KPMG is a financial company which done audit and all other financial relating thing. However, American big tech bucks the trend. Alphabet, Amazon, Apple, Facebook, and Microsoft are the world's most valuable multinational companies by market capitalization. Their services mediate almost every facet of our life, almost wherever we are. The tools we use to work, studies, and play, how we shop and interact, the way companies operate and market their product. Accordingly, they have established offices and facilities across the world. Nonetheless, their CHQs have always remained in the United States. Therefore, this paper asks, why does big tech stay headquartered in the US? For clarity, I adopt Marcus Mann's definition of CHQ, the multi-market firm central organizational unit, which is structurally such as emotional attachment, small tax obligation, friendly domestic regulation, and location bounded human resources cannot fully elucidate why big tech company headquarters at home. An alternative reason is necessary. When the other company like Burger King moves to USA, why say to facilitate the same of centering its corporate power in USA. Crucially, this enabling big tech to influence the American government into advancing its interests domestically and internationally. Domestically, big tech shapes government regulation to augment its dominance in the American market, its most valuable market. Internationally, big tech relies upon American outside influence to shape international trade agreement and extend its market and dominance worldwide. I begin by reviewing current explanation to elucidate the theoretical gap on the topic. Next, I introduce the theoretical logic of my argument. I then elaborate on how staying headquartered in the USA enable big tech to amass corporate power there and why big tech would want to amass its corporate power in the USA. Finally, I conclude the briefly discussing whether big tech CHQ's central headquarters would stay in the US given domestic pressure for regulatory frameworks recently. Literature is the to motivate paper contribution. I demonstrated that current literature cannot fully explain why big tech continue locating their CHQs in the US even as they have grown into globally. One popular explanation is that big tech founders, major shareholder, and top executive harbor a strong emotional attachment to America and hence prefer their firms to stay headquartered there. After all, almost all of them are American whose families and careers are rooted in America. While the explanation seems plausible at first glance, there is a little evidence that their emotional attachment do influence their business decision to remain headquartered in USA. This is why we still see iconic US brands that were founded in America and led by Americans. Example: Burger King, Seagate Technology is choosing to relocate there. headquarters overseas. Another explanation is that big tech companies can minimize their tax obligation by remaining headquartered in the USA. Big tech firms have became adept at exploiting the corporate tax loophole in the US to minimize their liabilities. Between 2018 and 20, their effective tax rate was only 15.4%, which is substantially below the global average of 25.85%. However, tax rates do not seem to be a key consideration for big tech when choosing to remain headquartered in the US. Other big tech would have for big tech has become savvy at avoiding taxes whether they operate such that there is no need to pick a CHQ obligation based on lower tax rate. A third explanation is that human capital of big tech firm is location bounded in the USA, making it difficult for them to relocate their CHQ overseas. Indeed, the English-speaking specialists leading the business operation of big techs are mostly American who are based in the USA. Despite the global mobility of small cadres of ambitious professionals, most specialists would be unwilling to migrate overseas for work. Big tech firms would need to gradually replace these specialists if they were to relocate their CHQ overseas. This creates a strong local effects among them. This theory has explanatory power but cannot fully capture why big tech remains at quarterism while recruiting and training new specialists would be costly for big tech firms. It is not an insurmountable task considering that they already have well established regional headquarters overseas. Crucially, other consideration might take precedence over human capital. For instance, iconic British MNCs such as SBC relocate their headquarters overseas after Brexit. That bring us to our last point. The final explanation, the Boeing that the American domestic regulation are friendly to big tech, making the US most ideal place to base its core activity and CSQ. Big tech firms are most concerned with three areas of regulation: antitrust, intellectual property, and privacy. Crucially, they benefit from America weak regulation across all three areas. Antitrust laws have not constrained big tech firms. Despite their market dominance over a broad range of digital services, the weakening of IP laws impedes smaller firms with disruptive technology from entering the markets and limit their threat to dominating of big tech. Weak privacy laws permit big tech to collect and translate user data into behavior data for sale with little transparency or safeguards. Significantly, this enables big tech to enhance its dominate over the American market, which is of utmost importance because it generates the most revenue for big tech. This explanation is compelling but incomplete for starters. Big tech is not only concerned with the present state of regulation but also their ability to influence these regulation to guarantee their long-term interest. Furthermore, big tech agenda goes beyond maintaining friendly domestic regulation to creating an international regulatory environment that protects their interests. These two themes are not captured in the explanation. Therefore, there appears to be a theoretical gap in explaining why big techs remain quarter in the US. The next section outlines a new theory to address the gap.